Bore da, and good morning to you all, and so great that I can join you this morning, and also just follow on from the First Minister, and say a few words of support and welcome as well today, because this is a very important event, a very important webinar, vital to the way we move forward, as the First Minister said, to move forward with our Race Equality Action Plan to make Wales an anti-racist nation. So I just want to say again that we're celebrating today Diverse Cymru's unique Black, Asian and Minority Ethnic Cultural Competence Education Scheme. And, you know, to know that Suzanne, and I know I'm able to stay with you for a short while to hear some of the speakers, Charles, and all of you who've made this happen. It's going to be critically important in implementing our Race Equality Action Plan, and that's what people want. They want implementation, they want things to change. But I'd also like to congratulate those who are receiving their certificates today, Caswell Clinic and Public Health Wales, because you are going to be the pioneers and champions out there, and you need to share and engage with all your colleagues. You've got such an important role to play. It can't be just government saying do this, it's got to be you in your practice, and the way you deliver services and how you enable all your teams to deliver them with this cultural competence. So you have such an important role to play, and I know we'll hear more about that. But I do want to echo all the points that our First Minister has made this morning, and paying tribute to all of those Black, Asian and minority ethnic figures, past and present, whose struggles and sacrifices have helped shape our modern Wales. And we have had an extraordinary couple of weeks, haven't we? Those of us who were there at the unveiling of the Betty Campbell, I think it's a monument now. I think we're seeing that this is much more, well, a statue is a statue. What do we make of it? And Gaynor Legal's work is so important in terms of taking that forward with our understanding of our history, and also guidance for how we move forward. But that statue of Betty Campbell is a monument which will have such an important impact and power, I think, for us and for future generations, to show the learning, the listening, the impact, the influence, and the struggle and the courage that Betty has had. And so many here today are still having that kind of experience and influence. But also, as Marcus said, last Friday, launch of Black History, no longer just a month, 365, as you said, Suzanne, the sheroes and heroes who help us today create the anti-racist Wales we all want. So I think one of the things that I want to say is that the importance of the Race Equality Action Plan is at a critical point in terms of consultation. So just a few words about that from me as you start the webinar. We've supported the certification scheme as a Welsh Government, being recognised here today, because, as I've said, it is going to be so important in terms of implementation, driving the plan forward. And I think I'd like to thank Diverse Cymru, particularly for the key voice, key role you played. And Suzanne, how many meetings we've had on Zoom over the past year or so, and many colleagues who are here today. Endless. This been a discourse. It's been about how can we develop this Race Equality Action Plan in a different way, engaging and listening and learning, and contesting and scrutinising and challenging those of us who've got any power or responsibility to try and take this forward. So thank you again today. You know, and you have played a key role in so many ways in what's been we've been doing over the past, not just the past 20 months, but for the life of Diverse Cymru. And I remember when it all started as well. I want to thank everyone actually here today who've already responded to the consultation. It does, the plan does recognise, I believe, our ambition, as the First Minister said, to create an anti-racist Wales by 2030. you know, shouldn't we be able to say we are an anti-racist Wales now? We aspire to be an anti-racist Wales. We're saying we must be by 2030. We aspire to be a nation of sanctuary. And actually, if you say that's what you want to be, you start living and breathing it. And I think that came over very strongly in the way we've responded. So with the refugees who've been coming so recently to us in the last few days and weeks from Afghanistan. So just a few words about where we are with the consultation. We've had a lot of responses, 330 individuals and organisations submitting their views. And I think what's so important is it's in a variety of ways, because we didn't just want the formal, well-funded or the organisations, statutory and third sector to respond with written responses. We've had videos, we've had films, we've had minutes of meetings, and we've had those local groups who we funded to do the work to actually get the views back, to share the plans, aspirations with people. We've had our community mentors in the Welsh Government who've had a huge impact on officials and the ways of working, and ministers. Ministers have had anti-racist training just before the election. And of course, we've got a steering group which is co-chaired, as First Minister said, by the Permanent Secretary and Professor Emmanuel Ogbonna. It's a very different way of doing things, and we had to do it differently because we knew that, you know, that was the challenge to us. So we're underway with reviewing the responses, considering what changes need to be made, and also just looking at, well, you know, step by step, how can we then pull this all together into the outcomes for the plan, the amendments, changes, additions. But of course, some things are already happening, and they're happening because of the work of the plan. So we've already agreed we're going to have a race disparity unit in the Welsh Government. That was one of the first things that was recommended last year as a result of the disproportionate impact of COVID-19 on Black, Asian and minority ethnic people and professionals and communities. So the race disparity unit, embedding that into the Welsh Government is underway. Of course, also the work undertaken by Professor Charlotte Williams, statutory now Black history in the curriculum. We've been celebrating that over the last week because, that was one of the things that Jeremy Miles, our education minister, he was applauding and welcoming last Friday, a week ago today, but also moving on with the work led by Gaynor Legal. So on the audit of statues and monuments and street names. So I think it's not going to be a waiting, oh, where is it? It's actually, we're already implementing it, but you are implementing it as well. I think that's what's the most important message from me, and to all of those who received the certificates and who have joined today. The Ethnic Cultural Education Scheme, Competence Scheme, is going to help implement the Race Equality Action Plan. So we will obviously let you know how things are going and emerging. We have a Race Equality Forum. We also have soon to respond to the results, which of course Diverse Cymru's played a part in, on the strengthening equality and advancing human rights research that's been carried out by Swansea and Bangor universities. And also, can I draw attention to the fact that on the 18th of 19th, I think, of October, just in 10 days' time, we're going to have a Senate debate on tackling racism. We've done that every year. We've managed to get cross-party support for those debates, which is very important in terms of the message that comes out from your Welsh Parliament, from your Senate here today. And it will be I know there will be a lot in that debate about the Race Equality Action Plan. So thank you very much for inviting me. I'm going to be able to stay for the next 10 minutes before I go to my constituency events on a Friday. But we want to just say thank you for the spirit in the way in which Diverse Cymru has worked for so many years, and the influence and impact you've had on people's lives. And this cultural competence scheme is a true reflection of that. Diolch yn fawr.